Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Nanny Phantom. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and we are here with some really exciting news. We are starting up a new draft league. So as you can see in the title, we are joining EWT. In case you guys didn't know, on Twitter they kind of already announced the coaches and everything, but this is the actual video talking about the draft that I picked and pretty much just how the league works and everything like that. So again, this is draft analysis. I'm going to be talking about the team I picked, why I picked certain things. I'm going to try to not take too long on this. Hopefully we can make it like max like 20 minutes or so. I'm mostly going to talk about like the early picks, like, and why I really chose them. Towards the end it got a little bit rough because a lot of the things I wanted got sniped. So we're going to go through the team. We're going to talk about why I picked certain things. But before we get into the team and everything, make sure you guys do drop a nice like. This is going to be the new league that we are joining. UPBA is going to be finishing up soon. PTL is going to be finishing up soon. So this is going to be the league that's going to be taking over that. And there should be a video coming up soon also, maybe in a week or so, about another league. So keep your eyes open for that. That's going to be really hype, and I can't wait for that too. So again, guys, make sure you subscribe and like, just because new leagues coming up, and it's going to be new Pokemons, new play styles, new people we're going to be playing against. So it's going to be really exciting. So again, we are joining EWT. This league is what's it called, owned by Automatic. You guys, I'm sure you guys already do know him. He's one of like the people everybody knows. He sets up the draft league website and everything, which is really cool. But yeah, he is the owner of the league. And there's a lot of really cool coaches. My boy Jay Ricky's in here. Kelly, under the radar, Aquarius from UPBA, and it's just like literally so many cool people. Everybody's really awesome in this league. I've met a lot of them already before because of UPBA and things like that. So I'm really hyped. It's going to be new people we're going to finally get to play that we haven't been able to play before. And yeah, so most likely on the screen I'm going to be showing like the draft slide. So there was a draft stream. So if you guys do want to check that out, make sure you go to Automatic's Twitch and you can see the live draft stream there, or I think he might have put it on his channel. I'm not sure, but I know for sure it's on the Twitch stream because I was watching it from there. But I'm going to be using those slides, so those are the things that are going to be showing up on the screen for you guys. And then I'm going to try to put the showdown spreads on the little face cam part because I don't use face cam, so I kind of want to fill that in with something. So you guys are going to see that there. But pretty much I'm going to talk about the points really quick and then the draft order that I got. So the points that we had to do, this is again point based, so it's not like tier based or anything like that, which we are more used to point based in this generation anyways. I used to not like it, but now I do like it. I think it's better. It creates a funner experience. But we have 110 total points, and we have to draft 11 mons, so that's kind of what we have to go with. And then obviously you got to make sure you have no negative points at the end of the draft, or you're gonna have to drop some Pokemons and things like that. But now that that's out of the way, I did get overall, I think I was 3rd draft pick overall, which is pretty cool. I normally never get even close to the top. I usually always get smack in the middle, but this time I did get 3rd overall, so that's pretty awesome. So let's go into the first mon that we picked, and this is a mon that I really been wanting to try out for so long, and that is Tapu Lele. So I ended up picking up Tapu Lele. It's a mon that I've been like kind of always wanting to pick, and I end up never actually picking it. I tend to like my fairies to be a little bit more defensive. Not that Tapu Lele can't be defensive, because obviously you could see that it has decent bulk, and at least in the special side. The HP is not too great and the defense is not too great. I tend to like my fairies to be decently physically defensive because, you know, it's good to take on dark types, but Tapu Lele is psychic fairy, so that's not really going to help us out too much. But what Tapu Lele brings to the field and why I ended up picking it is because of that raw power. It has good speed, base 130 special attack with psychic surge. It's just going to be so hard to take on this thing. One of the like typings that can pretty freely switch into this thing is steel types, and of course we get like focus blast, but you know, that's a move I personally don't like to click because I always know I'm gonna end up missing it. But that is like one of the few ways to really take on steel types. But when it comes to anything else, like a dark type will not want to switch into a psychic or a Psy Shock because you don't know if I'm gonna click Moonblast or something like that. And then a poison type might not want to switch in either to a Moonblast because we could click Psychic and just straight up kill that thing. So this thing's really cool because I do like Scarf Lele. I used to use that in the OU ladder a lot and it would always win me games. It's just so strong, and having a Scarf is really good with Psychic Surge. You can kind of just spam Psychic moves, especially if they don't have a Dark type. If they don't have a Dark type, it's going to be a tough day for them. But Tapu Lele is such a good mon. Hopefully I could do some work with it. Choice Specs Tapu Lele is just so hard to switch into, so that's something I'm you know, excited to use. Calm Mind, things like that, and it gets Nature's Madness, a lot of different cool things Tapu Lele does get. Doesn't get any fire moves, which does suck, but you know, that'll probably be a little bit too good for Lele, having a good fire move to hit steel types. There would pretty much be like no switch-ins to this thing. But Tapu Lele I'm super excited about. I can't wait to try this thing out, and I actually put it together with a very good mon, probably the best mon that can take on Tapu Lele. And our next pick is that mon, which is Heatran. So Heatran, obviously fire steel type, cool abilities with flash fire or flame body, whichever you want to run, could be very useful each week. If we just look at this thing's stats, 91 HP, 90 attack, 106 defense, 130 special attack, 106 speed def, and then 77 speed, which is pretty good for a defensive Pokemon. But obviously this thing can also be very offensive, and like I said, I took probably the best check to Tapu Lele because this thing can easily take on fairy moves and can easily take on psychic moves. So I think taking Heatran is going to be huge for Tapu Lele, just because now instead of having to face it, it's going to be on our team, and the synergy together is really nice. Heatran I've never actually tried before. It's a mon that I've always thought was really good, but I don't know how good it's actually going to be. But I do love walls that are strong. So this thing has 130 special attack, just like Tapu Lele. So I think Heatran's going to be pretty dope. Hopefully it can do work for us in a really good combination with Tapu Lele, and just be able to break stuff, taunt stuff, put up rocks, trap things, or just be offensive with eruption, things like that. Heatran could be kind of anything you want it to be, which I think is really cool because this thing is super strong and super bulky. So I'm pretty excited to use this. Obviously quad weak to ground, but hopefully we can play around that decently well with our next few picks. And then next up, I pretty much picked something to finish off our fairy dragon steel core, and that dragon is Haxorus. So I wanted to try a Haxorus for a few reasons. I was talking to Kelly under the radar, who's also in this league, and he gave me the idea of, you know, pairing Haxorus with Tapu Lele. One of the main reasons was because with Psychic Surge up, one of the few ways to like take down Haxorus is if you have like some good priority, either fairy or ice or even anything that might be able to chip away while Haxorus is setting up. But thanks to Tapu Lele's Psychic Surge, that won't be a problem anymore as long as it's up, obviously. And that just makes this thing a much bigger threat. So looking at this thing's attack, you can obviously see 147. Let me put an abilities Mold Breaker, Unnerve, which is really good because then they can't hold berries or anything like that. But looking at his attack, 147 base attack, decent Fizz Death, but its special defense is not that great. And 97 speed is really good because this thing is super powerful. It gets Dragon Dance, it gets Scale Shot, it gets Swords Dance. Swords Dance, Scale Shot is one of my favorite things to use. That's what I was using with Garchomp and PTL, and Garchomp was like my top killer. So hopefully this thing can kind of do something similar. Obviously it doesn't get that second stab like Garchomp does with Earthquake, which is huge. But I think Haxorus is going to be really fun mon. Every time I go up against it, it really scares me because if you don't play correctly around it, it can just set up a DD and then just sweep the rest of your team. This thing also does get priority, but again, that's not really a reason I picked it, because we have Psychic Surge, and priority with Psychic Surge is not something you really want to pair together. But if we do ever need it, we do have what's that called? I think First Impression, something like that, the bug move. So that's gonna be pretty cool with Haxorus. I'm pretty excited that we get to try out Haxorus. I've tried it out in Gen 6 and I loved it, but this gen I have not tried it out yet, so I'm super excited. I love dragons. They're always cool typing to have. And this one is super strong with really good coverage too. Next up, we are picking up a water type and a ground type, and we picked up Swampert. So at first I wanted Seismitoad. The reason I wanted Seismitoad is just because I wanted to have water absorb, because our team was looking a little bit weak to water, like water type moves. So I wanted to make sure I had something that could soak up water moves and not take anything at all. But it got sniped from us, and I ended up picking up Swampert. Not that I don't like Swampert. I think Swampert is such a good mom, but I really wanted that like water absorb. But I ended up changing my draft up after I got sniped, so it's not the biggest deal anymore. So Swampert actually fit in a lot better, and man, I can't wait to try this thing. Like if you look at its literally everything: 100 base HP, 110 attack, 90 Fizz Def, 85 special attack, which isn't bad at all, and then 90 Sped Def and 60 speed, which isn't too bad either. This thing is really great. It got even better this generation because they got Flip Turn, which is really nice because it has a base 110 attack. So Flip Turn can actually do a decent amount of damage to certain things, and it's just gonna be really good to put up rocks. I wanted to have a reliable rocker. We have Heatran, we have Swampert now, which are pretty two good reliable rockers. I didn't want it to be like UPBA where I only had one rocker and I really didn't want to use it every single week. Or I had Necrozma too, but I always ran that thing offensively. So it's nice to have something like Swampert that I can slap rocks on, maybe some Rocky Helmet. We could flip, turn around, and just be annoying. Earthquake is really spammable move, which is also good. It gets good coverage moves like Ice Punch and things like that. So I think Swampert's going to be pretty dope. I can't wait to try it out. I haven't used it either in the past, but I think it's even better this generation, so I'm pretty excited to use it. But yeah, that's Swampert. Not much to say about Swampert. Next up, we do have Rotom, and this is another one I'm super excited about. I've tried to draft this thing so many times and I've always gotten sniped, like either the round I wanted to pick it or like the round before I wanted to pick it. But this time we actually got to pick it up, and Rotom is going to be really fun. The reason why this thing is just annoying is because ground types that would want to switch into this thing, so I can't volt switch around, do not want to take a Leaf Storm like whatsoever. So they're gonna have to play around that very carefully, and it's gonna be nice because then we can almost freely just volt switch around, gain momentum for things like Haxorus, Heatran, or Tapu Lele. And this thing can do Trick, it can Will-O-Wisp, it can Thunder Wave, can Pain Split, can Defog, which is really important. Defog, I wanted to have a good reliable Defogger, and this is the first of I think we're gonna have two Defoggers in this draft, so this is the first of the two. And I love all the Rotom forms, at least like the top tier ones like Rotom He, Rotom Wash, Rotom Mo. I really like them a lot. They're bulky, they can Pain Split, they can be really annoying, they can nasty plot, they can be a good Scarfer, good choice specs. It has the ability Levitate, which really helps out Heatran a lot. Also, I picked up Rotom because, like I was saying before, we were looking a little weak to like just someone spamming Scald or Surf or anything like that, and Rotom just completely stops that. I didn't have Rotom on my draft plans at first, but then when Seismitoad got taken, I told myself, yeah, I think I need this thing because even though we do have Haxorus that resists water moves, I don't want to use Haxorus on a Scald and get burned and then pretty much it can't do anything. So I needed something that at least can risk getting burned, and it won't affect the game as much, because Rotom getting burned is not as bad as Rotom getting toxic, and that's why I think it's really nice to pair together Rotom and the rest of the team so far, because again, like someone could just spam Scald and really just hurt us a lot, and Rotom kind of stops that, which is really cool. So that's Rotom. I'm super excited about this one. It's probably the second. I'm excited for Lele. I really can't wait to try Haxorus, and I think Rotom is probably the third one that I'm super excited about. But yeah, there's Rotom. Hopefully you can put in some work since we finally get to draft it. But next up, like I said, we're gonna have 2 Defoggers, and the next one I picked up is Crobat. So Crobat is another really cool mon that I think got better this generation because of heavy duty boots. So this thing doesn't have to worry about coming in on rocks and taking a lot of rock damage and then also trying to take hits from something else. So with heavy duty boots, it can really just come in. It can be annoying. It's gonna almost always be faster than everything else. And that's why I picked it, base 130 speed, because we didn't have anything that hit 100 yet. So I picked up something really fast, and then later on I pick up something to kind of be in the middle. But that is Crobat. Gets Defog, like I said, Roost, Nasty Plot, Super Fang, Heat Wave, Brave Bird Stab, U-turn momentum, which is, again, I really like the Volt turn momentum between Rotom and Crobat, because it just helps us bring in our big threats like Tapu Lele and Haxorus, or even if we have like a very offensive what's it called, Heatran and things like that. I think Crobat is really cool. It gets cool abilities. It has Inner Focus, which means it can't be intimidated or flinched, and it has Infiltrator, which means that you can't really sub up on this thing without actually still taking damage. So I think Crobat's gonna be a really cool mon. I've used it in Gen 6 and I always liked it, and I think it's a tad bit better this generation, again because of heavy duty boots. And another pretty good reliable defogger that I do want to have, so we can switch it around. Like if Rotom can't afford to have defog and I can bring Crobat, then I can, those two things are gonna work very well together. And then obviously a flying type, so that gives us another ground immunity paired up with Rotom to help out Heatran and things like that. So we're kind of building a pretty good team together. I did want to stick a little bit more offensive on this team, so like that's why you're seeing like Rotom, even though it can kind of play different roles, it's very good offensive. Crobat's very good offensive too. Choice Band or Nasty Plot, it's really scary set if you don't prepare for it properly. So that's Crobat. And next up, we do pick up Cofagrigus. So Cofagrigus is one of my favorite ghost types. This thing's just so good because it's bulky. It has the ability Mummy, which can be really annoying. You slap a Cobra Berry on this thing and it can really hurt dark types with body press. Most of them will probably die. This thing also gets things like Nasty Plot, Calm Mind. I just love having like Pain Split, because that Pain Split is really annoying when you can't really take out this thing and you have to chip it away. Pain Split just makes it that much more annoying. Obviously like Will-O-Wisp to weaken physical attackers. And I'm pretty sure I already said T-Spikes, but Toxic Spikes are going to be really important. I do want to have a decent amount of hazards so I can play around with that when I play in the season. I feel like this generation I really do like hazards, even though heavy duty boots is a thing. Not many people put heavy duty boots on everything, so I think Toxic Spikes are really good. Rocks are really good. I don't think I picked up a Spiker, just thinking about the rest of the picks that I'm gonna bring up, but at least we have T-Spikes. We have a ghost type to be able to take on normal types and things like that. And this thing is just bulky. I love Cofagrigus. It's one of my favorite mons for sure, and it's a lower pick, so why not take it, right? Next up, we do have Kangaskhan, sorry. So Kangaskhan also has some really cool abilities. Scrappy to hit ghost types, because this thing might, like you get a normal type so it can take on ghost types. But if we look at its stats pretty much, whoops, I clicked on something over here. Okay, if we look at its stats, you see the 105 HP, which is awesome because we do have Wish, so we can pass around some fat wishes. It has good attack, good Fist Def and Spadef, and then really good speed for a defensive mon. So this thing is really cool. I was kind of deciding between this and Aldino, because what I wanted before, I think it was Licky I wanted before, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was Licky. I can't remember 100%, but that also got sniped. I got sniped like I think 7 times in this draft, which was really annoying because most of it came like towards the end when my team was looking nice, and then I just needed the last few value picks to finish it off, and then they got sniped. But Kangaskhan I didn't care too much about getting sniped because it's still a good mon. Well, I should say Licky because I think I wanted Licky, I'm pretty sure. But I ended up going for Kangaskhan because that got sniped, and I still think this is a great mon, and it's a lot cheaper, 5 points, which is pretty good. And yeah, I'm excited to use Kangaskhan. I never used it before. I just think it's bulky. It can hit ghost types with Scrappy. Can pass wishes around. And yeah, I think it's going to be a very useful mon. I definitely can see it coming more than like 2 times at least in the season. And yeah, so hopefully Kangaskhan can put in some work for us. Next up, I wanted to pick up a fighting type. And this is one of the cheaper fighting types that were still on the board. So what I ended up picking up is Croak. So Croak is another mon that I've never really used. I try to pick a lot of things that I didn't use. And this is one of them. I've never ever used Croak. I've played against it and it's scary, but I've never used it. This thing is interesting. Its attack is 106, special attack 86. It gets some priority, but again, I don't care too much about the priority because we do have Tapu Lele with Psychic Surge, so we do have to be careful with that. But one of the main reasons I did want to pick this thing is because it gets Dry Skin, which will also help us with, like I was talking about before, someone just spamming Scald or spamming water moves in general. This thing, if it does come 1 week, they have to think twice about what they're gonna click, which always creates a different environment in the actual game. So I think this mon is pretty cool. It gets some strong moves. I thought it got close combat, but it actually doesn't, which kind of sucks because I love just clicking close combat. That's why I like my fighting types. When you have close combat, you almost just always click that. But this one doesn't have it, so I'm gonna have to see if I actually want to end up keeping it. I probably will because it's something I wanted to try. I think it's a cool mon, and fairies don't really want to switch into this thing, obviously because it's part poison too. So that is Croak. It does get Sword Stance, which is awesome. So this thing can really help break, and I think it's gonna be an interesting mon to have on our team. So we'll see how this thing goes, or how this thing does, I should say. And then next up, we do have Sneasel. So Sneasel is the dark type that we needed. I actually wanted Alolan Persian. I had a team with like Alolan Persian and Hitmontop, and that team was looking real nice. And then I got sniped from both of them. After Alolan Persian got sniped, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for Liepard. Still a good mon. It gets Prankster. I was excited about that one, and then literally it got sniped the pick before me. So again, I got sniped a lot in this draft towards the end, and it kind of hurt me because the synergy of my team doesn't feel as nice as the one that I had planned. But Sneasel's still a cool mon. It has base 95 attack, 115 speed, which is perfect because it's smack in the middle between Crobat and then the next fastest mon, I think is like Haxor is with 97, something like that. So Sneasel was a speed tier that we needed to have in the middle. I've drafted Sneasel before but barely ever got to use it, but hopefully this draft I will be able to use it. But we'll see. Like, we get 3 transactions throughout the season, so if anyone drops anything good, I might try to play around and maybe drop Sneasel or anything like that. But we'll see, because I want to try out the team first before I even change anything, just in case, you know, I adjust to this team and I don't really need many changes. But I'm sure I will end up changing something. I always change like something about my team, but I'm gonna do like a 3-week trial first, see how I like the team, and then see what I don't like and what I want to switch around. But Sneasel's cool. Again, fast dark type. It gets triple axle, Swords Dance. We could run like Focus Sash, we could run Life Orb, Expert Belt, things like that. Obviously not as good as Weavile, but still not completely terrible. It still can hit pretty hard, and Knockoff is always good to have, in a dark type also, even though this thing doesn't really want to come in on psychic types because this thing is so frail that pretty much any move would most likely do a lot of damage or kill this thing. That's why I didn't want it that much, because I wanted a dark type that could come in on psychic types. Like take a hit and come in, not just come in after something else dies. But it's whatever. We can try it out and then see if we end up liking it or not, and then maybe we could do some transactions if we don't like it. But that is Sneasel, little baby Weavile. And then the last mon that we ended up picking up is Stonejourner. I just picked this thing up because there was literally nothing else in the 2-point category that I wanted. It gives us another rocker, something that can hit hard, something that can take on physical fire types, which is really nice. This thing's Spadef is terrible, so it's not really going to be good taking on special defense, special attacking mons, but it can at least take on physical attackers, like mons that have like Flying Stab, Fire, what else? Other rock types, which could be really good. And looking at it, HP 100, attack 125, which is really solid, and defense 135. So at least on the physical side, we can bring this thing in on certain typings, because rock fire types are a little bit tough to take on sometimes. So at least this thing can come in, take a hit, and then do some massive damage back, or set up rocks or something. And the speed is good too. I do like the speed. 70 is not too bad. I thought this thing would be a lot slower, but it's not too bad. And I think it looks kind of cool, man. Like, Ricky was just saying so much stuff when I picked this thing up. I think he really hates this thing, but it's whatever. Again, we get to do transfers. This was the only thing on the 2-point section that I felt like fit my team. So I ended up just picking it, and then I'll see if I drop it or anything like that. Never used it. I think I might have drafted once a while, like in my first gen. What is this, Gen 8, right? Gen 8 draft. And I used it like once, and it didn't really do much. But we'll see. Maybe we could bring something cool one of the weeks. But this is pretty much the team, guys. You should see the slide that shows all the whole roster now. And it's gonna be a fun team. It's gonna be a really fun league. I'm super hyped about it. Like the amount of coaches that are in this league that are just really awesome, have great content, and really good fighters. It's just a great combination, because it's just gonna help me get better when it comes to mons, and that's always what I'm trying to do. I always feel like I can get better, and that's always my goal. But that's the team, guys. I hope you do like the team. These videos are gonna be coming out every Thursday, so make sure you guys do mark that on your calendar. The Thursdays are gonna be EWT, and then there's gonna be another new league that I will announce later on. So just keep an eye out for that. But I hope you do like the team. Make sure you guys do drop a like. This is a new league. Let's just show all the love to the new league, and make sure you support all the other coaches. Their links should be in the description. I think we should have something like that. And just go in there, check them out, subscribe to them, and then keep tabs on all the weeks coming up. This shouldn't be too long of a league. I think it's like the rec season is like 9 weeks, something like that, which is I think it's pretty awesome. Or maybe 10, something like that. I like max 10, which is always cool. But yeah, keep an eye out for that, guys. Also keep an eye out for UPBA and PTL playoffs coming up. And yeah, make sure you do show all the love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.